There are some things you just do not ever do. And I like to use relationships because everyone's been in a relationship. Not everyone has worked for an elected official or been to a press briefing in a professional capacity or attended like a city council meeting. Not everyone has those experiences to draw upon. But as surely as you can hear me, Sam, Carnisha, Tawala, Stephan, even Mark, everyone you know who is not a child. Well, Mark is kind of a child. But outside of that has been, I know, Mark is like straight bullet. Everyone's been in a relationship, and there are some things you just don't do. Like, for example, and I have the sex doctor here with me. He may or may not agree. You don't invite exes to your wedding. You don't date exes of your friends. And they're not hard and fast rules, but like put it this way. It's like it's put on a wedding invitation right next to formal attire, reception at 4 p.m., no kids or people who you've previously slept with the bride or groom. It's not a hard and fast rule, but what is it? It's a courtesy. It's a level of respect. It's a norm. It's a tradition that most of us kind of know. Don't need to be told. And let me stay with weddings for a second. Women pretty much know that you don't wear white to someone else's wedding, and Carnisha shaking her head. She knows what I'm talking about. You don't try to upstage the bride. And oh, yes, I've seen it. Doesn't make it any less cringy. There are some things you just don't do. And if the expected attire on that invitation I told you about says formal or semi-formal attire, that doesn't mean show up in a bikini or Speedo. Why? Because there are some things, say it with me, you just don't do. Because you respect either the person, the tradition, or both. This country, and I'm getting to the point, does not have any more dignity, decency, or decorum, and does not see any value in it. There used to be a time that we would laugh at like the South Korean National Assembly or the British Parliament and how members would openly jeer and physically confront each other, sometimes even coming to blows. Remember, we used to laugh at that. We, the United States of America, used to laugh at other countries and their incivility because we, in our haughty arrogance, saw ourselves above such indignity, indecency, and indecorum because that would never happen here, so we thought. And I remember a very young congressman by the name of Lindsey Graham back in 1998 during the Bill Clinton impeachment made this appeal to our higher beliefs about what we expect out of the Oval Office, our institutions, talking about, we had a moral responsibility. We need to bring respect back to the institution of the presidency. We need to cleanse the Oval Office. Talked about cleansing, honor, integrity, these high-minded ideals. But we're not in that country anymore, even though many of those same people in office then are in office now. Back in 1998, I'm sure that the incident between the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and Senator Alex Padilla, that would have never happened. It would never have happened. It would have been unthinkable and unconscionable. It would have never risen to the perceived need to forcibly remove a senior senator from a room and place him in handcuffs. It would have never happened. But you know what? We're not that country anymore. We are a shameless nation, lacking the self-awareness to best appreciate the value of shame. Shame is valuable. Let me go back to that wedding analogy I keep talking about. Imagine you're a guest at a wedding for a close family member, a friend. Let's say you're a groomsman or a bridesmaid, and you get into a fist fight with someone on the dance floor. Shame would remind you that it should have never happened, regardless who may have been right or wrong. That was a solution available other than a fight. But now you've embarrassed yourself. You've embarrassed your spouse. You've embarrassed your date, your family, your friends, colleagues, and ruined somebody's wedding. But when you don't have any shame, none of that matters. Here's the problem when you no longer have any shame. There is no bottom. There is no bottom. There is nothing off limits. Why not have a fist fight on the congressional floor? Why not arrest any member of Congress who asks a question at your press conference that you don't approve of because they walk forward somewhat aggressively? Why not manhandle anyone you want anywhere because nothing matters anymore? Imagine standing up at the State of the Union and then yelling out a question at the president, whoever the president is, and then forcibly removed and handcuffed. in congressional chambers. I don't know. I can't love this country more than it is willing to love itself. Impolitic and uncomfortable questions happen at every single town hall, every single council meeting, every elected official or appointee's press conference, every single one. I've covered them. They happen every single time. Because if what happened today, the physical manhandling of Senator Padilla with no self-reflection, is deemed okay and acceptable, then we've lost our way as a country. And I don't think there's any way back. There is no then shining city on a hill. There is no American exceptionalism if that is who we are right now. There is no great America to get back to or make ourselves back into. Because if today, just today, is a supposed step closer to making America great again, then in fact we were never great and just another one of those countries we used to laugh at. Because we would then be no better than them. You know, the same countries which have since passed us in education, passed us in healthcare, passed us in technology, and most importantly, in economic strength. We used to laugh at them, but now we're behind them in all those leading indicators. I can't care about this country more than it does itself. And you cannot shame those who have no shame. You may now kiss the bride. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.